to our backbending flow. My name is Kim, and this is my awesome yoga model, Skylar. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Woohoo! Okay, so as always, we're going to start with a little bit of a meditation. So we're going to come into a comfortable seated position at the front of our mat and just closing our eyes for a few moments of stillness. Today we're going to be focusing on heart opening in our flow. So there'll be lots of delicious back bends and lots of shoulder and chest opening. And this can be quite intense. It can bring out a lot of emotions. Sometimes frustration, anger, vulnerability. I want you to notice these emotions. Don't judge them, just acknowledge them. And then as they come, let them go. Don't become attached to the way you're feeling. Take a moment to set your own intention for the class today, or I invite you to share my intention of making myself more open and more vulnerable to those around me as I try and keep my heart open throughout the day, on and off my mat. On your next breath, exhale completely, and then inhale for Om. Hands to heart center. Om. And opening your eyes. Okay, we're going to start with a little warm up. So from your seated position, I want you to just reach your left hand over to the side, your right arm overhead for a nice side stretch. Looking towards your right bicep, really feeling that stretch in your right side. And then on your next inhale, rotate your arm, so bring your right arm down towards the side, left arm overhead. A lovely stretch on the other side. And then on the next breath, walk your hands over slowly, coming to the center. And then walking forward, feeling that stretch in your hips. Trying to put your head down on the floor. Beautiful, Skylar. And then walking your hands back, uncrossing your legs, and bringing your hands behind you, coming into reverse tabletop. So turn your fingers towards your bum and keep your feet hip width apart, and then your next inhale, lift up. You can let your head drop backwards. Feel that stretch in your shoulders as you try and stack your shoulders right on top of your wrists, engaging your glutes. And then on the exhale, coming back down. And then try switching your hands. So turning your hands so that the dorsal part of your hand is on the mat. Your wrists still bent. We're going to stretch our wrists a little bit here. So pushing onto that back side of your hand, try and lift up into reverse tabletop again and feel how it's a little bit different, a bit more intense here.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. And then on the exhale, coming down, we don't want to stay there too long. Woo, that is intense. And then rotating so that your hands are now facing away from you, but again, still on the back side of your hand. Or if you prefer, you can flip back to the other side, whichever is a better stretch for you. And on the next inhale, lifting back up. Again, stacking your shoulders on top of your wrists. And then exhale, coming down. Perfect. And then from here, cross your legs. Plant your hands on the top of the mat. We're going to come into our first downward facing dog of the practice. So here, have your feet hip width apart. Press into your fingertips. And keep your back as long as you can. You can walk out your dog to feel the stretch in your quadriceps and in your hamstrings. Or you can stay in stillness. On your next inhale, step or jump to the top of your mat, coming into your half forward fold. Exhale, folding forward deeply. And then inhaling, bringing your heart arms up, looking up towards your hands. Exhale, coming into Samasthiti. We're going to start with 3 Surya Namaskar A's sun salutations here. So on your inhale, bring your arms back up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, look up, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, plant your hands and step or jump back into your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to come up into upward facing dog, engaging your glutes here. And then exhale, rolling over your toes, coming into your downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Try and encourage your heels to touch the mat. You can bend your knees if you need to. And try and rotate your shoulders. So you're rolling your shoulders out, externally rotating them. And then next inhale, look up and step or jump back to the top of your mat. Coming into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hinging forward, leading with your heart center, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, back to Samasthiti. So we're gonna layer things up a little bit. So again, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinging forward, leading with your heart center. Inhale, look up, and then exhale, plant your hands and really try and jump, kick your feet almost to your bum as you jump back into your Chaturanga with your elbows bent. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, you can stay here for some stillness, or to warm up your muscles a little bit and get your heart rate pumping, you can do some butt kicks into handstand. So on your in breath, just kick your bum and try and rock forwards on your wrists until your shoulders are stacked on top of your wrists. Awesome, keep kicking. And if you start to hover a little bit, celebrate, say hooray. Yeah, that looks great. Do a couple more kicks here. Engaging your core to help you stay hovering. Ooh, whoa, this is long as it And then on your next inhale, jump back to the front of the mat. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more round here. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale to look up, and exhale into our Chaturanga, floating your legs back. Wonderful. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. And here you can stay in down dog again, or you can try doing our jump kicks, but this time with our legs straight, trying to keep our legs and our torso at 90 degrees. So I'll show you what I mean. So trying to jump up like that. Really launching forward into your hands as far as you can. Be confident that you're never going to tip over. Although that's a lie. Yeah, great, that looked awesome. Woohoo! And then the next jump forward between your hands. Inhaling to look up. Exhaling to fall forward. Inhaling to come up, hands up. Exhale, Samasthiti. From here, I'm going to go into our Surya Namaskar B. So inhale, bend your knees, sit back, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, look up, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, plant your hands and jump into our Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And in your Adho Mukha Svanasana, turn your left foot 45 degrees. Step your right foot between your hands, coming into your Warrior Two, keeping your hips square to the front of the mat. On the exhale, plant your hands coming back into your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then turning your right foot 45 degrees, bringing your left foot between your hands. Again, coming into our Warrior Two on the other side. And then on the exhale, planting your hands, coming back into Chaturanga. Inhale, look up. And then exhale into our down dog. I'll take a little bit of a break. 5 breaths here. Really stretching our arms, reaching them so long, pushing our fingertips into the mat. And grounding our heels to the mat as well. Great breathing, Skylar. Next, inhale, look up and jump between our hands. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, coming back into Utkatasana, sitting back into our invisible chair. Exhale, standing into Samasthiti. Inhaling again, Utkatasana. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, coming into our Chaturanga. Inhale for upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then turning our left foot out, right foot between our hands, coming back into our Virabhadrasana. Exhale, planting our hands into our Chaturanga. Inhale for upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then right foot 45 degrees, left foot forward. Virabhadrasana A on the other side. Exhale, planting our hands back down and coming into Chaturanga. Inhale to look up. And exhale, downward facing dog. So from here, I want you to step your left foot a little bit closer to your hands, not too far forward. And then kick that right foot up. And let your right foot lead us into our attempted handstands. Why not? 5 little kicks here. Woo! Sorry, Skylar. That's okay. And then with our next kick, bring your right foot between your hands. Coming into a warrior 2, turning your left foot to 45 degrees. Or sorry, 90 degrees. And coming up into warrior 2. And staying here for 5 breaths. So in a warrior 2, looking at our top hand. Keeping our hips open to the long edge of the mat. On the next inhale, pivot your back foot, coming into a high lunge, arms up in the air. And you can stay here, or you can wrap your right arm underneath your left, coming into your Garudasana arms, your eagle arms. And then from here, lift your hands into the sky and bend backwards, starting our heart opening here. Trying to keep your hips square to the front of the mat, so driving your left hip forward and your right hip back. On your next inhale, lean forward and then launch into our warrior 3, keeping our eagle arms. On the exhale, unravel your arms and reach down, coming into our half moon. So your right hand down, your left hand up, stacking your left shoulder on top of the right, left hip on top of the right. In our Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. You can use a block here if you need to. Otherwise, reaching towards the floor, gazes towards the top hand. And for some fun, you can even grab your top ankle if you want to, only if you want to, coming into a little back bend in our half moon. So you can let go of your ankle if you've grabbed it, and then let your tired leg come down to the floor, finding our warrior 2 again, and then leaning forward into our Skandasana, or side lunge. So keep your hands at heart center, and then just walk yourself to the other side now. So Skandasana to the left, inhale Skandasana to the right, and again and to the left, just having a little play here. At our next inhale, coming to the right, open up your arms. Try and open your chest to the sky. And you can stay here or you can go for the bind. So bring your right arm around your knee and grab onto your left wrist or your left fingertips here. And really stretch open your shoulders. We need a lot of shoulder opening to get our back bends. The next inhale, walking back to the center, keeping your toes pointed towards the side of the room. We're coming into a prasarita. So you can keep your hands on the floor and then lead with your heart center, bending forward. And you can enjoy the stretch here, or if you like, you can come into your tripod headstand. That's always available to you in this position. So you can tilt forward onto your head, coming into tripod headstand. Yeah, great job. That was awesome. And absolutely, you can stay where you are with your hips wide. That's a really good core workout. Or you can bring your legs up. Woohoo, superstar. And then anytime you can bring your legs back down. Coming back into our prasarita. On the inhale, lift up. And walk towards the front of the mat. Exhale to come back into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome. First part of our flow on one side done. Yay. So we're gonna bring our right leg a little bit forward now. We're gonna kick our left leg up. Doing some handstand kicks on our left side. Keeping our heart rate going here. That is my mat. Keep that going. On your next inhale, bring your left foot forward, coming into a warrior two on our left side. Looking forward and opening our hips to the side of the room. Wonderful. Catch your breath a little bit here. On the next inhale, we're coming into a high lunge, so pivoting on that back foot, arms up to the sky, and then bringing our left arm underneath our right for eagle arms, and then reaching back, opening our chest to the sky. Again, bringing your right hip forward, your left hip back. This pose always reminds me of surrender for some reason. On the next inhale, coming forward and launching into our warrior three, keeping our eagle arms. Wobbling is good.
It's always one side.
Unraveling your arms and coming back into our Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. You can use a block if you need to, or keep your hands out to the front. And stack your right hip on top of your left, right shoulder on top of the left, looking to your top hand. Beautiful. And then again, if you took the back bend, you can grab your top ankle.
Oh my gosh.
It's tricky balance. Yeah, it looks awesome. And then from here, release your top foot and come into our side lunge or skandasana. So coming low. Perfect. Feeling that stretch in your groin. And then walking your leg over to the right now. And again, walking forward, walking back. And one more time, back to the front of the mat. And from here, open your arms to the sky. Opening your chest, surrendering yourself to the world. And feel free to take the bind, bringing your arm behind you, your left arm wrapping around your knee if it's in your practice. And further, just pushing your shoulders wide. And then from here, again, walking your hands back to the center, coming into our pressarita. So this time, I want you to inhale to lift halfway up, and then on your exhale, bind your hands behind you. So, yeah, exactly. Clasp your palms, and then on the inhale, lean forward, bringing your hands towards the ground, trying to touch the ground with your knuckles as you lean as far forward as you can. Feeling that stretch in your shoulders. My goal one day is to be able to twist my arms around here and then go into a handstand from this position, but very, very far from that day.
Oh my word.
On the next inhale, unraveling your hands and walking yourself back to the front of the mat. Coming back to our chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Great job so far. So from here, feel free to take your favorite handstand kick. So I'm gonna try diamond kick, but you can try whatever you want. You can try one that we've already tried, or you can just chill out, just be silly. Yeah, bum kicks are fun too. Woohoo! And the more you do these, the more your heart rate will go up, but one day you'll find you're eventually hovering, which is the goal. So on your next inhale, jump back to the front of the mat. Exhale, fall forward. Inhale, coming upward, Urdhva. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhaling again, Urdhva. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, and then exhale, jumping back into our Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into up dog, exhaling into down dog. From here, we're gonna kick our right leg to the sky, coming into our three-legged dog, and then bringing our right knee forward, planting our right foot, coming into our Virabhadrasana A, our warrior one. So rotating your back foot to 45 degrees. Arms up here. Focus on squaring your hips to the front of the mat. You can stay here, or you can come into reverse prayer, bringing your hands behind your back, touching your palms together, and opening your shoulders. It's a pretty intense stretch for your shoulders here. You can even take a little baby back bend, arching back. Next inhale, bring your arms back up and pivot your foot into a high lunge. So coming onto your back toes. And then from here, bringing your left hand forward, your right hand back, coming into our twisted high lunge, looking behind us. Next inhale, bringing our arms back to the sky, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling to twist, bringing your left elbow over to your right knee, coming into our Pravrita Parshvakonasana, and really deepening our twist here by pushing into the palms and opening your heart to the side of the room. Next inhale, opening your arms wide, And if you have this in your practice, try and take the bind. Otherwise, use the strap. I'll grab the strap. So coming into your bind now. Just strap over this hand. Grabbing the strap here. Oh, take your time. Perfect. And eventually just walking yourself down the strap until maybe one day your fingertips meet.
One day.
One day. One day soon.
I'll just continue doing your classes.
And then next inhale, think about your back foot and try and bring your back foot to meet your front, coming into our bound Utkatasana. You're doing great. And you can stay here, or you can put your weight onto your left foot and slowly bring your right foot up. See? Wobbling is growth. It's really tricky with the strap because it actually gives you more leverage. And then from here, slowly straighten the leg, even if it's only in your mind. Beautiful. Our twisted bird of paradise. One more breath. And then coming back into our twisted Utkatasana, stepping our left leg back into our twisted lunge. And then, a tricky transition here, we're gonna turn our toes towards the left side of the mat, keeping our twist. And we're gonna come into our twisted Prasarita. This is meant to really open your shoulders, preparing us for wheel and bridge in our peak posture later on. On the next inhale, unraveling your arms, bringing your left hand to the outer edge of your right foot, right hand trying to reach towards your left toes, and then really pulling on your left foot to open your chest to the side, really deepening that twist, feeling it in your left hamstring. Yeah, you can keep your hand anywhere along the way, so you can even just put your hand on the center of the mat if you want and open to twist. Perfect, looks great. And then next inhale, walk your way back to the front of the mat, coming back into our chaturanga on the exhale. Great job. Moving on to the other side. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Okay, so from your down dog, raising your left leg up into three-legged dog, and then bringing your knee forward, stepping your left foot between your hands, coming into our warrior one on the left side. Really squaring your hips to the front edge of the mat here. And staying here or bringing your hands into reverse prayer again. Trying to press your palms together as you come into a baby back bend here. Back bend actually makes it a little bit easier for your shoulders as you press your palms together. Mm-hmm. Next inhale, bringing your arms back up and then twisting your back foot so you're coming into high lunge. And then exhale, right arm forward, left arm back, coming into our twisted high lunge, looking towards the back of the room, testing our balance. Next inhale, coming back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then twisting, bringing our right elbow towards our left knee and pushing into our palms to really deepen that twist. So try and bring your heart as far towards the side of the room as you can, opening your heart to the side of the room. And then next inhale, opening your arms, bringing your right arm down, left arm to the sky. Or if you want to come into the bind, twisting around, get your fingertips to meet, or you can even bind onto the wrist at some point.
There's one side that's not very...
Yeah, one side is always better than the other, that's true. How are you doing?
I'm just gonna stay here for
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. So you can stay there even as we come into our twisted Utkatasana, so bringing your back leg forward. And then you can keep your hands, just one hand on your knee as you come up.
Okay.
One hand behind you. Perfect. And then finding the balance here and eventually straightening your leg. So I'll follow you here. If you're in the bind, again, take twisted bird of paradise on the same side. Skylar and I are going to take a little break and chill in this modification. And then next exhale, bringing your leg back to the ground. Then on your next inhale, bringing your hands back to the center, stepping back, exhaling into chaturanga, inhaling into upward facing dog, exhaling downward facing dog. And from here, we're gonna jump our feet forward, coming into our malasana, so planting your toes just behind your wrists, and then coming back into our deep squat with our hands at heart center. Great job, we're done the standing sequence. So things are gonna cool down just a little bit from here, not too much. We're really gonna move into our back bends. So as I said that, I'm kind of lying because we're gonna come into our crow now. So plant your hands towards the front, leave enough room so that you might come into a headstand if you feel like it. And bring your knees towards your armpits, really trying to rest your knees into your armpits here as your hands are planted. And lean forward and eventually just tilt your toes off the ground, bringing your toes to touch. And you can chill out in crow, or like Skylar's doing, you can lower your head and come into our tripod headstand. Awesome. In your tripod headstand, you can either aim for perfection here, trying to point your toes and keep your body in one straight, perfect line, or you can play around. You can just, pedal your legs, do twisty legs, woo! You can have foot high five, maybe, yeah. And then eventually coming back to center. And yeah, you can jump back, or tilt your bum back, bringing your legs into 90 degrees. And then imagine your head lifting off the ground as you just float just on your hands. I mean, I don't think you can actually do it, but I'll imagine. And then push back into chaturanga.
That was impressive.
Inhaling into upward facing dog. Exhaling downward facing dog. Perfect. And then from here, we're gonna come back into our high plank. And then exhale to lower all the way down to the mat. One breath, resting our cheek on the mat here. Next inhale, we're gonna bring our hands underneath our shoulders, and we're gonna start to push up, coming into our low cobra. So peeling our chest off the mat, and then eventually just lifting our hands like they're weightless. Feeling that strengthening in our back. And then on your next exhale, bring your hands behind you, resting your other cheek on the mat. And then next inhale, peeling your shoulders off the mat, reaching with your hands back, and then lifting your toes off the mat as well, keeping your toes together. So squeezing your legs together, try to peel your thighs off the mat too until you're rocking just on your pubic bone. Engaging every muscle in your body here. And exhale, coming all the way down. Beautiful. One breath to reset. And the next inhale, bending your knees, grabbing your ankles with both hands, and kicking up into our bow pose. This is a great pose for our back and also to open our shoulders. So really kick back into your hands and lift your thighs off the mat and squeeze your knees together, engaging everything. Because as if you haven't worked hard enough already. And then on the exhale, slowly lower down. You can bring your heels towards your bum for a little bit of a quadricep stretch. And then release your feet. From here, push up into child's pose. Take 2 breaths in child's pose. And then on your inhale, coming up onto your knees, and we're gonna move on to camel. So you can walk your knees a little bit towards the front of the mat here, and then bring your palms to rest on your lower back with your fingertips facing up. Camel is a lot like doing bow, but in midair. So imagine that there is a mat here on the surface. You wanna push your pubic bone forward to touch that mat, and then slowly lean back, but always leading with your pubic bone thrusting forward. And then if you have the space, slowly bring one hand to reach for the heel behind you, and then the other hand. And from here, open your shoulders and thrust forward with your hips again. And then walk your way slowly out from camel. Woo! And then coming back into our child's pose. Next inhale, planting your hands at the front of your mat, coming back into a downward facing dog. And then next inhale, jumping forward into seated position, coming right into our Navasana or boat pose. So keeping your legs straight, or for modification, you can bend your knees. Your shoulders back, and your neck should be in line with your spine, so your head should be back, no turtling up forward. And then next inhale, cross your legs, plant your hands down, and then push your bum off the mat for one breath. And then exhale back into Navasana. Great job.
I tried.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. And from here, use your left hand to grab your outer edge of your right foot, or along the thigh or the shin, and yeah, open up. Perfect. So our twisted Navasana. This is really working your obliques. You can bend your knees for a modification as well. Awesome. So you want to bring your thighs a little bit closer to your chest if possible. Yeah, it's super tricky to find the balance. Great job feeling that in our obliques here. Awesome. And then coming back to center. Again, planting your hands and pushing your bum just for a millisecond off the floor. Awesome. Back into our twisted Navasana on the other side. So right hand on the left foot, twisting open. Tricky, very tricky. And then coming back to center, and then pushing last time, this time pushing up so far that you can maybe walk your feet behind you, eventually not even touching the mat with your feet, coming back into our chaturanga. Coming back, and then inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. And then from here, jumping back to seated, legs out in front of you, and then on the exhale, slowly rolling down. Perfect. So from here, we're going to move on to our bridge pose and our wheel pose. So bring your heels towards your bum, bending your knees. And shimmy your hands down, trying to touch your heels. On your inhale, lift your hips slightly off the ground and try and bind your hands together, clasp them behind you, and wiggle your shoulders underneath you to really arch your back, engaging your glutes, thrusting your hips in the air for bridge pose, holding it for 5 breaths here. Bringing our knees to squeeze towards one another. And then unclasping your hands and then rolling back down. You can stay in bridge, taking 2 more rounds here, or you can come with me into wheel pose. So for wheel, if you know how to do it, go right into it. If not, bring your feet slightly apart and knock your knees together. Your hands underneath your shoulders, again, slightly further than your shoulders, and squeezing your elbows together. And on the inhale, push up on your hands and your feet, coming up into wheel. The goal of wheel pose is really to keep your elbows completely straight. So really extending the arms and then rolling the shoulders further back than you think they should go so that they're stacked on top of your wrists, which is why we did all of those beautiful shoulder opening exercises earlier in the sequence. When you're in your full wheel pose, your glutes should actually be completely relaxed. All of your weight should be on your shoulders over your wrists, a little bit of weight on your feet as you're trying to extend your legs so that one day, perhaps your knees are extended as well. And coming back down. You can come all the way down and go back into another round of wheel, or you can rest on your head and then walk your hands just a little bit further, closer to your feet for another round of wheel. And then rolling your spine all the way down. Great job. Whew. That was our peak pose, so we can finally relax right here. So rock your knees from side to side, rolling your spine, bringing your knees in. Bring yourself into a ball, rolling around from here. And then rocking up into a seated position. We're going to come into our Paschimottanasana, forward fold. You can round your spine here for this forward fold and really just relax into it, thanking your back for all of the hard work that it just did. Okay, and from here, you can either go back through your vinyasa, coming into your chaturanga, and then eventually your downward facing dog, or you can come into Kakrasana. If you haven't done Kakrasana before, don't attempt it now, just go through your vinyasa, but if you know Kakrasana, then feel free to come with me. Have you done Kakrasana before?
No, but I want to try.
Okay, maybe watch me first then.
Okay, yeah.
So you need to have a really solid plow pose before you can attempt this. Otherwise, you're going to hurt your neck. So just be very cognizant of that. So we're just going to lie down. And then from here, we're going to bring our hands behind us on our shoulders, just like we do coming into bridge. We're going to lift our legs above and then kicking back into our plank pose and then hopping forward into crocodile. Coming into downward facing dog.
Just do a back roll.
Yeah,
I don't think I want to try that first.
Good first step. Okay, coming into down dog. And then from here, we're going to come into our headstand of choice. So you can come into your tripod headstand that we did earlier, or you can try a slightly more wide arm tripod headstand. So bringing actually your arms a little bit behind you, actually coming on your knees probably is a better place to start. So arms behind you, extended onto your fingertips, hiking up. Or a regular tripod headstand, awesome. Kicking into it, beautiful. Point those toes. Looks so strong, super. Or you can come into a clasped tripod or clasped headstand with your hands around the back of your head on the mat. Whichever variation you're in, just hang out there for a few breaths until you feel ready to come down. Beautiful, very controlled descent. That was awesome. So coming out of our headstand, we're going to take one more child's pose, really stretching out our shoulders. Beautiful work today. So no more vinyasas from here. We're actually just gonna roll over onto this side of our bum and extend our legs and come back into our supine position. So roll all the way down. On your inhale, bring your right arm up and kick your right foot into the air, grabbing your right big toe. You can also hang onto your knee or shin or anywhere along the way. And then on your exhale, come up crunching forward, bringing your head towards your knees, reaching your left arm down lower on your left thigh and pointing your left toe. 5 breaths here. Using your core muscles to bring your nose closer to your knee, trying to touch. Beautiful, and on the exhale, relax and then bring your right leg across, opening to the side of the room and keeping your left hip ground to the mat here. You can use your hand to pull your left hip down. You want to feel a stretch in your hamstrings. Oh, sorry. There you go. You can look towards the left side of the room. Sorry if my foot's in your face.
That's okay.
On your inhale, bring your leg back to center and then switch your left hand into your right foot. Yeah, exactly. Bring it across, coming into a lovely spinal twist. And keep both shoulders ground to the mat here and let gravity do the work, bringing your foot or your knee towards the floor. Next inhale, bring your leg back to center. Grab your heel with both hands and then crunch up, kissing your knee, pinky knee. Relax your leg down. Inhale to bring your left arm up and kick your left leg into the air, grabbing your big toe or knee or shin. And then on your next inhale, crunching up, bringing your knee towards your nose, pointing your right toes and letting your right arm slide along your right thigh. Last little bit of ab work here before we're done our practice. Great job keeping your breathing steady throughout. And on your exhale, relax. And then bring your left leg across. Very nice nails. Yeah.
Thank you.
So turn your head towards the right and feel that stretch in your groin and your hamstrings. And on your next inhale, bring your leg back to center. Use your right hand to grab your left heel and then switch it all the way across in another spinal twist here. Again, keeping your shoulders on the mat and your gaze towards your left hand. And then next inhale, bringing it up, grabbing your heel with both hands, giving your knee a little kiss, and letting your leg relax. Next inhale, crunch your knees to your chest. Wrap your arms all the way around, squeeze, squeeze, squeezing every muscle in your body, even your face, and then exhale. Relaxing into our Shavasana. So release your Ujjayi breath. Come back to your natural breathing and let every muscle just melts into the mat here. Say a silent word of thanks to your body for surrendering to this practice today, for opening your heart, for being vulnerable, and for trying new things.